Since 3 hours, this operation have been going on, and so far, although police and the paramilitary forces have made advances, but then the protesters are also showing strong resistance. They are pelting stones against the police officials and other paramilitary forces. And according to local media reports, that at least 60 people have so far been injured in clashes between police and the protesters. So the pitched battles are currently underway, and it is not yet clear that how long authorities will take to clear the main highway from these protesters, because there are reports of protests broken out in other parts of the city as well as in other parts of the Punjab province.
Now, Kamran, just lay out for us exactly what the demands of these protesters are. This is all about the oath that parliamentarians take once they take their seats in Pakistan's parliament, right?
Exactly, because a few weeks back, the parliament introduced a new election laws in which one of the amendments they introduced related to the oath of the parliament. And they changed that oath a bit, but after that, they realized their mistake and rectified it. But the religious group that was led by a firebrand cleric, Khadim Hussain Rizvi, who belongs to Lahore, has demanded the resignation of the law minister, whom they accused of amending these laws. But the government has so far resisted their demand, saying that the amendment has already been rectified and it was just a clerical mistake. So there was no point that the law minister should resign. They are also saying, at least the government is saying, that they cannot set the wrong precedent that around 1,500 and 2,000 people just blocked the main road and put up such unfair demands. So after negotiations for around 19 days, and even there were several warnings issued by authorities to the protesters, but they were not budging from their demands. And finally, authorities have launched this operation on the intervention of the court in Islamabad, who questioned the local administration for failing to disperse these protesters, because their protest has virtually affected the routine life in Islamabad, because people had to use alternate routes that take hours and hours to reach their offices, schools, and hospitals.
And Kamran, finally then, what do you think this tells us about the sort of relative strength or perhaps obstinance of religious groups in Pakistan? And how has it been taken by the wider Pakistani community that this has been going on for quite so long?
Well, there have been mixed reactions. Certainly this group has considerable support. And also don't forget that this issue of finality of prophethood is a very sensitive subject. So that is why one could say that there is a lot of support among the ordinary people. And that is why once this operation started, we have now reports of so many small protests being carried out, not only in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, but in other parts of Punjab province. And that is the main challenge for the government. And that is why the government has so far, or government took so much time to take action, because they know that this could backfire. So that is now the challenge. The government has finally decided to take on these protesters, but at the moment, it doesn't seem that situation will be under control anytime soon.